the thing that happens sometimes. That's my fault. I was like, fuck that music. We don't need it. Hey, everybody. I'm Amanda Bonanza. Welcome to Being Trans. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, welcome to Being Trans. I'm Amanda Bonanza. Next to me is Emily Kailyn. And at the bottom there, looking enthusiastic and happy, is Lilith Elektra, the illustrious Lilith Elektra, looking so beautiful and so good and so happy in her tropical paradise in an undisclosed location. How's everyone doing today?
Good, good. I always love it when we can get a swear word right in the first 4 seconds of a stream.
Ooh, did I do that? Did I just do a Steve Urkel? I Urkeled it, yo.
Yes. Yeah, it was great. That was great.
Is that bad? Are we not allowed to do that?
That's how you, yeah. With the YouTube monetization stuff, if you swear in the first bit or whatever,
7 seconds or something,
yeah. Because it's weird. You can swear within a video, but if it's in the first bit, then advertisers might not wanna.
Is it like The Wire, where their listing is like, you can listen for 7 seconds, and if they swear in that 7 seconds, then it's on. But if they don't swear, you got to stop listening. That's YouTube law right there.
I think that's exactly where they got it from. They're like, they watched The Wire. It's like, we should set up our video streaming service exactly like this show.
Yeah.
This
get
is
Herc
great.
in there.
They're watching. They're like, this is best practices. This is good.
Good stuff there. It's like, yeah, their main dev is just guzzles fucking Irish whiskey. Like whenever he's off, he sleeps on a mattress. It's great stuff. How's everyone doing? What's new in the world? Because we've got a bit of sadness. We don't want to. We want to be upbeat and happy and trans, but we got dysphoria. Where's dysphoria? It's reared its ugly head, and we're going to talk about it a little bit, right? Because sometimes we don't always feel our best or feel like we look our best, and sometimes we're going through that. So we want to talk about it with y'all, so y'all can feel better about yourselves, and share in the group sympathy and empathy that like all of us trans folk go through here and there. Yeah.
Well, and I wanted to bring up this topic because I'm feeling it very strongly recently. I did tell the girls before the show started that I hate my body. I'm really disappointed in the results I've seen. I've been on HRT for about 6 years, and I'm just really disappointed in the lack of progress. And that, as Amanda said, this is a comedy show and we try and keep things light, but it's also we are on being trans, and trans issues are very important.
It's important to talk about, I think.
Yeah, and it's really easy to come up here and to present to put a persona forth and be happy and all that kind of stuff, and try and lead people in a way, by example, being up here. And it's an important reminder that we struggle as well. And yeah, I've been feeling that the last couple days. Just my body is not what I want, and it's not a good comparison because some of the people I'm comparing myself to have been getting surgeries recently, and that's another thing where I've moved. I don't have access to healthcare yet, so my transition is really kind of stalled out, and surgery is not something that is available to me. I don't know when that'll happen, so I'm just kind of feeling really stuck in my transition and not seeing the progress I want. So I thought it would be important to kind of bring that up and talk through that. Present company included. I have seen friends that get really nice luscious boobs off of HRT, and I have not. I feel like maybe they're kind of still growing incrementally, but I'm just like, where are my C's? Where are my C's?
Everyone wants C cups. Everyone, every woman in the world wants C cups. I feel you know, that's a blanket statement. It might not be true, but I feel like that's like kind of everyone's kind of, I just feel like, because there's people there's women that have like really huge boobs and they're like, oh, my tits are too big. They're annoying. They hurt my back, all this stuff. And like, they're like, I just wish I had C cups. And then there's women that have smaller breasts and they're like, oh, I wish I had bigger boobs. I wish I had C cups. I feel like C cup is like kind of the universal target. And of course, like there's variations. Not everybody's going to feel that way, but like, yeah, I mean, I did get lucky. But here's the thing is it wasn't just luck. I actually did things to help that along. And in addition to taking the hormones, I actually took supplements, and I recommend them to anyone that wants to do them. And for anyone, I think they would work for you too at your stage, Emily. I think they'll work for any woman who wants just a little more shape, which is like fenugreek and licorice root. If you just take those, that's really going to help your breasts. It's just a thing that those herbs do. There's another one called red maca root that you can get that like kind of gives your body a little more curvy shape to it. And it's by themselves, they don't do much, but if you take them like you take vitamins, like with your hormones, like they will actually ultimately do it. And the other thing that I use, and I know I've talked about this on the show before, is the secret magic weapon, which is this here, this magic titty cream, which is called Tatva's Herbs Organics Firming and Enhancing Cream. And like my friend Bethany showed it to me, and I started using it, and within not a very long time, my shit just blew up like a cup size. Like it's absolute magic. I've never seen it not work on somebody. It's just great stuff. I'm not a doctor. I don't know if it's safe, but it feels safe. I don't have any adverse effects from it. So like, it's one of those things where it's like, if, you know, I think everybody is different in their transition, and like everybody's body is different. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just say probably like, I'm sorry if I just hop in here. Like every person is different. So, you know, everyone's going to have a different reaction. Nothing is guaranteed. What works for someone might not work for someone else. I actually had an augmentation and I'm happy with it. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out there, that every person's body is different. What works for someone else isn't a guarantee that'll work for you. Nothing that you're doing is guaranteed to work for someone else. And just keep that in mind when you take stuff. Don't take a bunch of stuff you just heard and then in like a year be like, how come it didn't work for me? It's like, well,
yeah,
this is just what someone did.
And then, like I said, that at the outset, that's why this is a really important topic to bring up from time to time, because we can still fall into that trap of judging ourselves based on others or some ideal that we want to achieve. Making sure that you are working with a doctor, making sure that you are consulting somebody, making sure that there is somebody to monitor your levels and all the different things that you wouldn't think about, that these different herbs and drugs and things, how they can interact in your body and the side effects they can have. So regardless of what it is that you do to try and transition, medical intervention is always the most important thing, because you don't know what some of the other side effects or complications can be, and that is where you can get into a lot of trouble. So but yeah, the big point is we just can't judge ourselves based on others. And I guess that's really the crux of what I've been feeling recently. I've seen some close friends whose transitions have been moving forward where mine has been stagnant for a while. And
what is let me coach question you here. What does moving forward mean?
They're just Yeah, they're just making progress, and I'm not seeing any progress in my body.
Okay, but now the follow-up question is what does it mean they're making progress?
I just used a synonym, didn't I?
Yeah.
They're looking more feminine. Their body is more like the ideal.
Mm.
I mean, I want to opine here for a second because I think what's going on, and forgive me if I'm off base here, but I would say because Emily, I think what you're going through is something that all of us go through at some point, and I don't even think it's exclusive to trans women. I think cis women go through this too, but it's definitely, like all things, it's amplified for trans people. So like it's one of those things where it's like I think everyone does this. I think everyone has those moments where they get frustrated and they look in the mirror and they especially trans people. I know I do this. I look in the mirror and I just see boy on some days. But the thing is like that's because that's the memories that I have. That's the lifetime of looking at myself in the mirror and actually seeing one. And it's also just your own insecurities. Like you're always your own worst critic. And like I find it like mildly ironic here because like I'm looking at you right now, Emily, and you're like the picture of femininity. Like you have like nice, supple, like narrow shoulders, and you've got like just you have all the things. Like there's no reason for you to be upset. Like and in many ways, like I'm jealous of your body, like in a lot of ways. And so like this is like I think it's just a thing, and so it's all perspective because I know there's a lot of trans women that are like hearing this, that someone that looks like me or like you, and then they're like, oh, fuck you, or like, fuck you, I'm jealous of both of you, or all of you, or whatever it is. And we're also like on YouTube, like going out and like telling this to the world and demonstrating that. And so like I think it just depends. Like I think it's just important to understand that it doesn't matter like what you look like. The idea that there is some goal that you can get to, like I don't think is a realistic thing. I think it's self-defeating in a way because it isn't a goal. You're gonna end up looking like you no matter what. And everyone looks different. And no one, I've never met the person that was 100% satisfied with how they look ever.
Yeah,
never once.
Lilith, I loved your comment in chat, and I'm sorry you had to put it in there. Would you say
it's where I can get to say stuff. The chat is where I get to talk.
Please go ahead.
So I would say the other thing is like saying generic things like that doesn't give you a direction to go. So you're like, well, I'm not happy about this. And I always talk about this with people's jobs because I work with people who are like unhappy in their job and they're like, I hate my job. But they can't tell me what they want. They can't tell me where they want to work. They can't tell me what they want to do. So it might be helpful, you know, if you have an idea of like, all right, so what are these things that you do want? What are the things that aren't happy about? Are those things you can work on? Your butt's not big enough. Are there exercises you can do every day to make your butt bigger? Are there things you can do to give yourself a waist or whatever? I don't know, like, I don't think you can wish your boobs bigger, but you can give the magic potions a try and do that. But I would say, so like really thinking about what it is, but also, and I just kind of put this in there as well, is recognizing where, like, you know, you've been 6 years, I think Amanda's been 6 years. I've been around. I just did finish my 7 years, and it's like kind of like maybe looking at those old photos and seeing how far you've changed and the growth you've got, because we for sure don't give ourselves credit for what we've done. It's like when we accomplish something, we kind of discount. It's like, well, if I did it, it couldn't have been too hard. And we forget how much change you've done, and especially you, like not only how much change you've made for yourself, but kind of the community you've built as well, which is a big part of that. And so giving yourself credit for that. And then, yeah, realizing like there are just things you can't control. And like, being being unhappy with your body is probably like a big part of just becoming a woman.
Yeah.
And like
As
you
a
even mentioned,
coach,
like living up to these beauty standards or what the standards are or what it should be. And there is no should. I mean, that's the
yeah,
one thing as trans people we should know. There's no should be, there's no normal person. It's just everyone is unique and different, and being comfortable with skin and being comfortable with who you are is part of that. It's okay to be, you know, jealous as long as you don't let it like dominate your life, you know.
mhm.
I'm not gonna say you shouldn't be jealous. Like, no, we all see
We're all
Amanda and
jealous.
I
I'm
always
jealous
Amanda
of
and I
every
always
woman I
we
see.
used to joke about the thing, like you'd go on Reddit or Discord and like someone posts a picture and just like, I haven't even started hormones while I passed, and they're like 18 and you wouldn't have even known, you know,
Yeah.
that they were. Yeah, it's just like, please shut up. I mean,
Please
don't shut up. Like, you're all welcome here, but sometimes like shut up.
Well,
Yeah,
and
and
I have my friends too that are like my social media friend, my social media's friends, and like, you know, like my friend Alexa in Colorado, like she's astonishing looking. She's so good. My friend Harper in Florida is incredible looking. June also in Florida, she's just amazing looking. And then my friend Tyler in New York, who like just like she's now doing like a TikTok like YouTube influencer thing, and like she's doing great, and she just started, like she's about I think 2 years in, and she looks amazing and incredible, and I'm just so proud of her. And it's just like I see, you know, all these people, and a lot of them younger. Like, and that's the thing, is like it is like that's part of it too, is like we all started in our 40s, if I'm right, like, and that definitely like does change the dimensions of things, because like it is one of those things where like if you live your like time isn't on our side with regards
yeah,
to the physicalities of our transition. Like it is really one of those things, the longer you have the wrong hormones flowing through you, the more quote unquote damage that it does, that's irreparable. And I, you know,
that's
I
awesome.
think like,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think for the most part, like I'm certain that if I had started my transition like at 18 or 16, that I would look radically different now. And like same thing with anyone. But you know what? I've also met trans women that started their transition at 16, and they're like, I don't look feminine enough, and they're the picture of femininity, and they all say, everyone says the same thing. I've never met a trans person that was like, I started at exactly the right time. Like it's always I wish I'd started earlier, I wish I'd started before, because the ideal time to start transitioning is before you start puberty. That's the right time. And anyone that does it after a moment after that, like is technically going to be playing catch up to cis women, at least anyway. But that goes back to the comparison thing.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, I would say that the exact right time is in the womb. That's the best time to start transition.
Yeah.
So, you know, Lilith, I
Yeah,
really wanted
right.
to go back.
When all the hormones are duping around in your little
Bubbling up.
embryo. You know, why didn't you choose it back then, you dummy?
Yeah, yeah.
What the hell?
I was resistant to transition even back then.
That's
Oh
too
God, where do
stupid
I
to
want to go now?
realize. You were going to ask me a question.
Yeah, I was, but I'm wondering if I wanted to. Uh, anyways, yeah. Let's go to the question. So you brought up something that was sort of a little mini mind blower there that I hadn't even really considered.
Yeah.
And it's more that as a coach, as somebody who
Yeah.
coaches people specifically in business and actually with life too. Um, have you noticed that as just I guess a common theme, right? That we hit these periods where we feel unhappy with our lives or whatever, but it's not anything even vaguely specific. It's a generic, general feeling that we can't even attribute it to any one particular thing. We can't describe anything,
Yeah.
and I guess I don't even know where I'm going with this, but it seems so common. It seems so, yeah, right. When you said it,
Yeah.
that it's it might just be more part of the human condition. Because yeah, there are days when I feel fine. I feel like yes, I'm who I am, and that's great and everything. And I know people find me beautiful, regardless of how I feel about myself, yada yada. But yeah, those moments where you hit that just general malaise, that general feeling of not being good enough without any evidence. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on where that comes from?
Yeah. So one thing I often, and I wonder in the chat, tell me if you went through this, like after you started your transition, like you started looking back in your life and seeing like, oh shit, there's this coming through. And so like for me, I had like 4 or 5 moments where it was just like before I was old enough to like put all the pieces together, but I was like, oh, I had that big fit all the time about how much I hated my name. And I also had a big fights about growing my hair long. And it's like, here are all these little things. Now looking back, now that I'm transitioning and I know what's going on with me, it's like, oh, it was all bubbling through. And so I kind of did the same thing just as I went through coaching, like my life in general, and realizing like those times when I was really restless and really down on myself and really upset was when I I kind of like got complacent and stopped pushing myself and stopped growing. And my biggest achievements and the points where I felt best about myself was when I was taking risks and going for the things I wanted and pushing myself out of my safe zone, so to speak. So um like I got divorced and like immediately just called a theater in Texas that I knew did was trying to do a program where you would come and be an artist in residence. And I called them and I was like their first one. And I did that, 6 months after I separated. I was down in Austin by myself, teaching classes and doing shows. And the theater was awful and they kind of botched everything. Like the people I showed up, like the person who owned the theater clearly didn't tell them that I was coming. And so they threw me on a bunch of shows. But then the second half of my month there, I just went and did stand up in Austin. And I don't do stand up anymore. I really don't enjoy it, but it was really great for me just to do my stand up in front of someone, but pushing myself out of those safe zones. And then, just moving out of the country. Like the last year at my job, the last year at my last 2 jobs were awful. And I felt like I wanted something different. I know what it was. And I was too stupid to realize like, it's time to move. And you're waiting for where to move when really you just need to move on. And so like my previous job, I just quit in 2019. I quit, and that was right before the pandemic. And I got like a part-time job at a thrift store. And that year, no health insurance, worked at a thrift store, and went through my coaching program, had a great year. And then the next year I started at the job I just quit in January. And it was, again, I was there and I was enjoying it. But I got complacent and I could just feel like I'm not growing. I'm not pushing myself. I'm just living this mundane existence where I just come in every day and I make phone calls and I try to make sales, and the dopamine's not there for me. Now, I'm not saying that's the same for everyone. Like everyone, like don't go out there and take huge risks. But for me, if I have like I always say, like ignore fear. Now, obviously, if a bear is chasing you in the woods, you should be afraid. That is not a fear you should ignore. But if you're like, you want to try something, and you're like, oh, I'm afraid of doing that. Like, listen, our brains want us to be safe. Our brains would rather have us stay in a shitty relationship or stay in a job we hate than take the risk and try something new. Because what do people always say? Well, what if it doesn't work? I was like, well, what if it does work? So I would say that a lot of times it might just be that, your I might have to switch here. I think my headphones are dying, but you're kind of like, you're in this maintenance, there's a part where your transition just becomes maintenance. You're just taking pills every day. And you don't have the excitement. You don't have the excitement of the first year where it's just like, people haven't seen you in a year are just like, what's different about you? Or like I had a coworker who was like, what's up with your chest? Like, because I had noticed. You don't notice because every day you're just waking up every day and it's incrementally changing. And then a year later, you've got tits and your coworker's like, why do you have boobs? After 6 years, you're kind of 6 years later, you're not getting those things. You know,
Yeah,
6 years now you're in maintenance. So it might be that, you know, you're just not getting the euphoria of seeing changes in yourself like you had in the past.
Yeah,
Right.
and I guess that my next question, and I'll let Amanda answer first, but I'm going to ask you real quick. How do we apply? Because you said, you know, a lot of times it's sort of a stagnation in life, and you need to kind of change things up. So after Amanda's comment, I want us to think through, like, when the stagnation you're feeling is with your, like, your, I guess, your physical body, something you, or something in life that you just cannot change.
Right.
How can we take some risk? How can we do some things around that? But Amanda, why don't you give your comment first?
Well, I was going to say a couple things with that, because there's a couple things, two primarily, and one is in response to what Lilith was saying about, like, the first year of transition, like, so much happens, like, it's so impactful, but it's also, like, really hard. It's like the hardest time. It's so hard. And I look back on that and I remember it fondly. Like, my memories about that are just like, oh, that was such an awesome, cool, exciting time. And it was, but it was also the hardest time. I was so dejected. I felt like I was so afraid of everything. I was so, like, self-conscious. Like, I was figuring stuff out, and looking back, like, yeah, it was full of a lot of exciting things, but it was also really scary. And, like, at the time, I couldn't wait to get to the point where, like, I just was settled in and this felt normal. And then I got there, and then I was like, oh, I miss what it was like, because that's how we are as human beings. The grass is always greener on the other side thing. Like, it's always that with us. And the thing with transitioning is it is like that, because it's just, all of it is gradual. But that first year is the least gradual. It's still, like, a lot happens. And then it tapers off after about the end of the second year. And then it tapers way off, and it kind of slows down, and then it kind of matches the pace with aging almost. And that's when you stop noticing the things. But I'll tell you this, I definitely have still been, like, sideswiped and T-boned by stuff, like, even after that. And even to this day, like, I still notice stuff that's like, oh shit, like, that's new. And it's way less frequent than it was, like, in the first year, but it still happens periodically. And so it's still going on. The hormones are still doing their work, and it's still working. And I'm not convinced that a transition ever ends. I think it does exactly that. It just catches up with time. And then you just progress that way. But then the other thing I was going to say was, actually, it doesn't matter, because, like, I forgot it, but, like, that was the main thing that I wanted to get out there, because I think it's good to keep that perspective, like from a transitional perspective, like from a transitioning perspective, like, it is going to slow down. It is going to taper off. But you never stop developing, just like you never stop growing as a person. You never stop learning, like, all of it. There is no end. There's no destination.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's more of a shift to subtlety and, gradual change. And yeah, you did. I mean, if you think about it, we've got a place locally here that has a bunch of the old tombstones put together into a wall, and so it's this fun kind of thing. You just walk through and see all these on display, and it's wild to see, 200 years ago or less, how short lifespans were. Like, 200 years ago, we're almost done. Like, we are at the very tail end of life, and it's important to kind of remember that, I suppose. But yeah, I did like that idea of realizing that it's a really common thing, yes, for all of us. But we just get to these points where we can't put our finger on it, but we just feel this sort of general feeling, and maybe maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just taking that general feeling of being a little stuck, being a little unsure about the future. I'm very focused on a brief time here because I've just moved and I'm still getting things set up. And maybe what it is we apply that general feeling of uncertainty and some fear and some other things, and we'll just attribute it to the thing that is most front of mind for us. Maybe work isn't going right, so we attribute it all to work. Maybe, you know, our transition isn't going right, or is there's nothing going on particularly in our transition that is worth celebrating. So then it's like, well, that's what I'm going to focus this energy on, without knowing there's just this greater energy that's happening that is brought on by other things. Any thoughts?
I mean, I just generally agree across the board with all of that.
Okay.
I think it's accurate. Like I think we just I remember the other thing I was going to say, and I'm just going to touch on it real briefly, but it is what Lilith said, was like she would get it to a point of like stagnation, where like it's like, oh, I'm at a point in my life where like I'm in a rut, and I need to change something, and I need to do something scary. Well, for me, it's something a little different. I've noticed that about myself too, but I've noticed that if I'm not making art in some way or another, if I'm not actively being creative, that's when I get really shitty. Like that's when it starts really hitting me. All the bad things happen. Like I don't like myself. I don't like my life. I don't like anything. I just get upset. And as soon as I start making art, if I'm playing music, or I'm making videos, or I'm doing something creative and making something, then everything's fine. And I think that's specific to artists. Like because I know there's lots of people in the world that don't suffer that sort of like almost bipolar level of like of emotion, but it is that it's if I'm not actively being creative, I suffer greatly, and I don't like who I become, and I'm not pleasant to be around. Like I notice, yeah. And so it could be that too. It's like, you did just move out of the country. You probably been spending most of your time making arrangements and doing business and packing and unpacking and fixing things and doing all this stuff that's not directly related to making art and building community, which is what you do. And you haven't been doing those things, and it's catching up to you now because it's been a few months.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Well, I didn't mean to take us too far over on this topic, but like I said,
this is what it's all about. Lilith, how do you feel about it all?
You had a question, Emily. What was your question you had for me 5 minutes ago?
Oh, no, we were touching on it. Just we talked about in work or just general life, if you're feeling a little stagnant, you know, it's kind of mixing things up. But when you're attributing it to your body or something in your life that you can't change, what are some of the things we can do? And what Amanda and I just sort of were talking through is that no, it's the opposite. You got to work on the thinking, not the.
Well, one thing I always say is you control what you can control. And that's why I said, when it comes to your body, there are things you can't control, but there are things you can control. Like I said, there are exercises you can do for that luscious butt. There are clothes you can wear to accentuate your figure, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I think one thing I always talk about is, you know, if something is out of my control, then I try not to worry about it. And if something is within my control, then I try to do everything I can in that situation. One thing, and this sounds so corny, but this really helped me when I was struggling, even before I transitioned. Like I had the 2 years between my divorce and transition. I would write every day, and I'd start every day with 3 things that I'm happy for, that I'm glad are in my life, or that I did, or whatever. And I do the same thing right before I go to bed, which is kind of like an old school like gratitude journal thing. But I'd also like 3 things I accomplished today. And it could be, you know, like I cooked, you know, like I think people think accomplished means it has to be, you know, I bought I bought a company and leveraged them for whatever. It's like, you could just be like, for me, some days it's like I showered today, because trust me, that doesn't happen every day. And sometimes it's just like, hey, I cooked I tried a new recipe and cooked it. But like, really focus on those things that you're grateful for, and focus on the things that you accomplish every day. Because I don't want to get too far into this, but one thing, like, I don't know if you've ever seen like studies or reports, like, your brain, the things you use in your brain grow stronger. And if you develop positive pathways, if you're thinking positively, you start seeing it's rose-colored glasses is like a kind of insulting way to, but that's how you start seeing the world. When you start seeing the positive in the world, then that's how you live your life. One thing I always talk about with jobs and coaching, and this will be the last thing we move on, but like, if you have a job and you think your boss hates you, and every time your boss gives you a job, it's because the job sucks and they hate you. If that's your thought process, how is that going to affect your relationship with your boss? And how's it going to affect how you do your job? If, however, you think your boss trusts you and gives you all the toughest work because he thinks you're the only person in the office who can do it, how does that change your relationship with your boss? And how does that change how you approach that job? Because at the end of the day, we control our perception of the universe and how we choose to exist in it. And it's not as easy as it sounds, but it literally is like, how are you choosing to perceive the world? How are you choosing to proceed through the world? And how are you choosing to interact with the world around you? Yes, there are assholes. Yes, there are bad people out there. But if you choose to focus on the positive, focus on what's accomplishable and what's in your control, it completely changes how you exist in the world. That doesn't really help you with wanting bigger boobs, but
I think it does.
It does. Okay, glad.
All right,
cool.
So what I took away from all this is all you have to do is think positive thoughts and your boobs grow. Like
that's our lesson for today. Think
Actually, that was some poignant shit. I love it. Hey, who wants to do meme diver?
Let's jump in.
Hit it, Rada. Hello, we're gonna do meme diver, but Raina, can you change the screen so that it's sharing the? Do I have the screen share? There it is. Meme diver. We got meme diver going on. There it is. Okay, we got this going. We're gonna whip through these real quick because we spent so much time being poignant and wonderful. Here we go. Here's our first meme today. It's this one here. It says Gooner 9/11 averted as Zenless Zone Zero's butt obfuscation technology is rolled back in the face of horny outrage. That's a headline.
I don't understand. I understand all those words, but I have no idea what is being told to me.
It's Gooner 9/11 hasn't been averted, and it was averted because Zenless Zone Zero's butt obfuscation technology is rolled back, and it was rolled back in the face of horny outrage.
I mean, I understand what the words mean, so reading them back to me does not make me understand what the sentence means.
Okay, I'm gonna break this down for you.
Wait, I have a quick question. Before we get into this. How much have you lost on Trump coin this week?
I haven't checked. I know I've made money. I've made money on Trump coin.
You can't have made money. No.
I didn't check today. Maybe it went down today, but I bought it last week and I made like something like 13.4%. Like, so it's been good, but maybe it went way down today.
It's gone way down since Thursday.
Oh, maybe I've lost all my money then. I don't know. I haven't checked it. Anyway, I
have less money.
We're not talking about Trump coin. We're talking about Gooner 9/11, which was averted because they rolled back.
Read this again. Please don't read this
Zone
again.
Zero's butt obfuscation tech.
I just would like a point of clarification for me. I don't know what a gooner is.
Okay, I think gooning, I'm not 100% on this, but I think it has something to do with like edging. Like it's like gooning is like when you're edging, like and you're like kind of just hanging on the edge of like you're masturbating and you're hanging on the edge of orgasm, like you're trying to maintain that. I think that's what gooning is, but I'm not 100% on that. Yeah, like there's an actual like definition of it, but I think that's like in the area of what it is.
I like how the first sentence of the actual article, which is the only thing we get to see, is "let me explain." And
Yeah.
I think that's the part that we're missing, is that explanation, because
that's the least entertaining. That's the least important part. The most important part is this.
There are a lot of important words there that we all understand, but together in the context, it is very, very challenging. I think it's very disappointing that this meme, this article, is talking about butt obfuscation technology, obscuring the butts, doesn't show a butt picture. Like, what kind of butts are we talking about?
Also, this is just a clip of a news article. This isn't a meme.
Well, you're right about that. It isn't technically a meme, but so you're fair enough, but I feel like it's worthy of attention, in the sense that like it's a great headline. I feel like I've seen some memes. If you want to get pedantic about what a meme is, then I'll give you that. This isn't a meme according to Hoyle, but it is indeed a meme. Like this is a better way to put this is a shit post, which, so like a meme would fall under the umbrella of shit posting. So I guess we could change the name of the show to Shit Post Diver, but that doesn't quite have the same ring to it.
I feel like Andy Chalk is an enemy of the transverse state, and it would just
Andy Chalk, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist.
I posted the definition in the chat, so that's there if you.
What do you got for us? Read it aloud, because I can't see the chat.
I'm not gonna read aloud.
Okay, let's rate this one, and let's keep the memes rolling, because I got a great one up next.
Okay. Based on the opinion that it's not really a meme to begin with, maybe it's not very solid, I'm going low. I'm going 1 or 2. I don't know what our currency is anymore, but I'm going.
Well, I think we're getting rid of Elon Musk fun bucks because those tanked. So we're sticking with Zucker coin, and I think could we have we could have Bezo bongos.
I'm just going on a 10-point scale now. I'm saying this is a 2,
10-point scale. Okay, fine.
I'm going to play by my own rules, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to go through some stuff from my childhood, and I will give you a McDonald's Halloween coupon for a small box of the shortbread cookies that they used to sell that were shaped like them. That's what I'll give you for this.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a surprisingly accurate rating.
The cookies will also be from 1986, so good luck with that.
Okay, so the ashtrays. I'm gonna give it. I'm with you. I'm gonna keep this on the low end. I thought it was a great intro, though. I'm gonna give it 3 Zucker coins, and I'm gonna add in about 14 Trump bucks because it's still valued low. It's gonna go up. No, it's gonna go up. Get your Trump coin now, folks. All right. Remember, don't forget, all these memes are available on.
Is that when you're leaving the country?
NFT.horse.
When Trump coins pay for it.
Hey, I'm going to take whatever Nazi money I can get. That's what I'm going to do. I don't care. I have no ethics when it comes to crypto. Here we go.
Good thing. That's where people with no ethics end up, in crypto.
Well, it's perfect for me then. Here we go. Here's our follow-up.
In the US.
This one, technically isn't a meme either because it is just a photograph, but I feel like it also counts. Here we go. We got that. There's that's all there is to it.
Okay. I like this only because I know that bottom picture is from Office Space, which is one of the best movies of all time.
Hey, Peter, man.
Man, I do 2 chicks at once. That's what I do, man.
That's what I do.
That's what I do.
I'll
Hey,
tell you
man,
what
turn
I
on
do.
channel 4. Turn on channel 4.
For those listening, just
If you
audio.
haven't seen Office Space, if you haven't seen Office Space, we should do like a movie watch night and watch Office Space.
Like on the show? I mean, like in
know.
real life.
Man, I don't know. I don't know what.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to happen in real life. I'm not going to fly back to California.
Yeah,
just
but we
to
could
watch
like do a
Office
Zoom
Space.
share probably.
Oh.
I don't know. Like we can work something out.
So yeah, I was missing the whole thing the whole time. It's Osama as him doing 2 chicks at the same time, and the towers are his chicks. Wow, this one reaches real far to get to something to try to be
keeps
funny.
going deeper and deeper.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm like, only because I did stand up in the era where people thought they could start telling 9/11 jokes. Like, I'm not giving you anything for this, but I will allow you to fight. I'll allow you to fight the person from the last meme for their McDonald's coupon. That's about it. 9/11 jokes. Like if you did stand up in the mid 2000s, it wasn't even too soon. It was just like,
no, it's too soon now.
Anyone who's making a 9/11 joke is just like, you don't have the skill to pull this off. Maybe Anthony Jeselnik could do it, but if you're doing open mics, man, you don't have the skills for this. Trust me. And I heard them all, and they all sucked.
Yeah, I think that's the case with this. I think that's
except for the one I told. The one I told was great.
The one you told was good, of course. Yeah.
Well,
so
I actually told. Wait, did I ever tell you this?
Here,
wait, wait. People are gonna want to hear this. I've never told you the
9/11
story.
joke time. Here we go.
They definitely want to hear it.
So I was in a comedy contest, and it was down in North Carolina, which my first mistake was just like, I'm going to tell this joke in North Carolina. I had first told at an open mic where someone had talked about one of their parents dying and then made a joke about it. And then I got up next and like, oh man, my parents died too. And I feel like I could have stopped them from it because they died on 9/11. And all I had to do was go into the bedroom that morning and say, hey, y'all are taking this conversion to Islam way too seriously. And it got a big laugh the first night I told it. And then I told it in North Carolina, and no one laughed except for one guy sitting right in front of stage. This is the funniest joke he ever heard. He laughed his ass off. And it was like, the rest of the room was like, except for one old white lady in the back. She goes, when I said my parents died on 9/11, she goes, oh my God. Like loud enough for everyone to hear. Oh my God, your parents died. Yeah. So
that's
lesson learned. And that's, I made my own mistake, but it was also just like, that's nowhere near the worst ones I've heard. And that one's not that good.
This one also not that good. Boy. Benefit of the doubt. I don't know. I hesitate even to give it a 2.
Yeah. Also, I just want to point out they gave Osama bin Laden a box cutter, and he was not involved with this at all. In fact.
Oh, the box cutter.
I enjoyed that detail.
If this was true, the movie would have said, if I had $1 million, I'd let my friends do 2 chicks at one time, because Osama bin Laden's a coward who never did any of this himself.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even 100% convinced that he was a real person.
This is my opinion of this meme.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Moving on.
Yeah.
We got this one. And this is for all our patriots out there.
God bless, come.
I'm legit worried about you, Amanda. Like, where are you on the internet?
It's been a while since we've done a meme diver. I put it all in this thematic.
Yeah, we know why.
I've been saving them up.
Heck?
He's a proud white cum stained man.
Here's the thing. Every city over like 250,000 people has this guy. The car, There was one in downtown Milwaukee. The guy had like shit written on his car, and then he had two like plywoods arched up with stuff written on it, and then he had a loudspeaker, and he'd drive by like, "You're all going to hell, abortionists," and it was like, okay, I'm just trying to get to class, my friend. But yeah, this is let's go back to talking about dysphoria. That was much more exciting than some of
You're not enjoying the blue comes matter.
What is happening here? Like, is this?
I think Photoshop's happening.
Can this be serious? Like, this is this is
definitely Photoshop or AI.
We think it's Photoshop. Okay.
There's no way this is real. Like, unless this man is just fucking the most amazing man that ever lived. Like, he's got the butt cum license plate. I mean, come on.
Okay. So I'm on it now. It took me a minute.
Night. It's time to fart on my balls.
See, I'm one of those, like, I trust people. I'm very trusting. I'm very gullible that way. And I read this straight, and now I can see the Photoshop. And yes, this is a terrible, terrible person in the US that somebody has taken and changed it and made it all about butt stuff. I think that the missing thing to make this great is the original photo. Don't you think that that's necessary to like to really make fun of this guy?
I don't, and here's why.
You can't
just because
Photoshop
we all know what his
times.
actual van looks like. We already know what all these things say. We don't need to see it. This is what it's really saying. This is like that episode. This is like the meme with the glasses where the guy like lifts them up, like puts them on. And this is like. Wait,
are you talking about the Spider-Man meme, or are you talking about the movie They Live, where you put
the movie They Live,
on?
the They Live sunglasses? Yeah, the meme like where it's like he puts it on, like you have them off, and you see the regular guy, and then you put the glasses on, and this is what you see. This is what it really is.
Okay. Does this have value? I think this is a tough one. We know generally when I judge our memes here, I do it based on presentation value, because this is something that you buy, that you own, that you can display at your house.
Guaranteed to go up in value.
They're guaranteed to go up in value, of course, but where can you put this in your house, and how well can it be displayed for others to see it? Because if you own something that other people can't see, then where's the joy in it? I'm seeing kind of a low presentation value here. It's sort of one of those you put up, maybe nobody notices, maybe they walk by and it's no big deal, and then some people enjoy it, some people find it crass and tasteless. I'm gonna go 4 on this one.
Okay. I agree with you on all that. I think I should be paid to take this off someone's hands. So what I will offer is, if you want me to take this, I will allow you to root for cold French fries in a Midwestern mom's minivan, and you can keep whatever you find. I'm going to keep with the McDonald's theme as well. There you go. Like you can just have that. I feel like we can be funnier and smarter than this. And this, that the person who made this, there's the love. Like there's one where the guy's like, disrespect my flag and I'll beat your ass, and then they photoshopped out the B and just says eat your ass. That one is like the perfect of this. This is, I don't know. I'm just not.
I need to clarifying question. You said we can be funnier and smarter than this. Do you mean like we as in humanity, or like we as in the three of us?
No, I am
the three.
I am peak hilarity. I've got no notes for myself. I'm just saying, like, if someone is going to go out there and create memes, then we, the royal we, the left we, needs to be better than this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is great.
I would say the best thing,
coins.
if you really wanted to do it, it'd be get a picture of the driver like outside his car, be like, oh man, I love this. Have him in the photo and then edit all this. That adds a layer to it. But this, this could even be a car that doesn't have anything written on it.
I like to imagine the driver wearing a Pikachu costume.
I don't like to imagine these drivers at all.
Yeah.
It is a classic Mad Men for me. I do not think about them at all.
Okay, moving on here. We got another beauty. This one's a little more heady. Here you go. We got this is from my friend Eris in England. She usually goes by Samsara Final Girl, but she changed it to Samsara Final Ghoul for this post. And so we've got it says, reading from the top down, which is, we'll talk about this, but we'll read it from the bottom up. Elon Musk posted, the real fight is not between right and left, but rather between humanists and extinctionists. And then
So
Dr. Jordan.
that's the dirt that the seed was planted in. That's the dirt.
That's the dirt
that the
seed was
and
planted in.
now we're going to put some manure on that.
Yeah,
dirt.
Dr. Jordan B. Peterson chimes in.
Jordan Peterson.
Dr. Jordan Peterson.
He had this to say about it. He's like, no, sir. The real fight is between the spirit of Abel and the spirit of Cain. Then, of course, Samsara Final Ghoul chimes in with the actual budding flower that says, excuse me, sirs. The real fight is between Godzilla, king of the monsters, and the eighth wonder of the world, King Kong.
I think we're writing a theme here. I think we could be better. I think
there's a funnier joke there. And also, like,
I think the funniest joke is the existence of both Elon Musk and Dr. Jordan B. Peterson.
Yeah. It's just like a funnier thing would just be a photo of of Jordan Peterson and Elon Musk smoking corncob pipes filled with shit, going, no, sir, the real thing is, because that's all this is these two smoking their own turds, talking about how brilliant they are. And this also goes against my thing of engaging these morons online. Like, who cares? Like, who's to be listening to anything Jordan Peterson has to say is just, no, sir, the real fight is between the spirit of Abel and the spirit of Cain. It's like, whatever you say.
Yeah,
I guess. Sure.
I mean, yeah, I don't even get where you're coming from with that, but whatever. Sure.
No, sir. The real fight is between the spirit of St. Louis and the Spirit Halloween store that just moved in to the closed CVS. See that?
You got it. There you go. You just nailed it.
The Spirit of St. Louis, yeah, was great. The Spirit, the Spirit Halloween stores, especially with the Final Ghoul thing. The Spirit of St. Louis is definitely gold. We could workshop this one a little bit, but
I mean, those are the first two spirits that I came up with. So
yeah.
You could probably
just a little more time. But to use your, like you said, don't respond to these idiots. Don't engage. But to feel compelled to step in it and say something, you've got to hit hard. And to just throw in it's a total throwaway. Godzilla and King Kong, like it's
I think it's great,
inconsequential to really be anything. It's just like,
I like Godzilla too. I love Godzilla. I don't want Godzilla to be involved in this, whatever this is.
We're way over time.
How dare you drag Godzilla's good name through the muck?
Yeah. Godzilla's awesome.
We don't have time for tangents, but I'm going to do one anyways. Have you seen the drone thing of King Kong climbing the Empire State Building? It is magic. It's amazing. I suggest you check it out.
Okay, that
It's
sounds
great.
cool.
You know the drone shows where the drones move and make shapes and stuff like that? They did a King Kong and they had it actually scaling the building at real scale size to the movie. It is amazing. I highly recommend everybody in chat check that out.
Yeah,
Godzilla
put a
or
link somewhere. Yeah, let me see.
King
Let me
Kong
see a link.
drone.
Put it in
You know.
the our chat.
Okay. While you're
or
queuing up the next one, I'll bring them up.
our WhatsApp or whatever. Yeah, like, but also for the chat if you got it. Okay, let's move on to our last one. I decided to get a little more heady with this one and close on a highbrow note. Here we go. There it is. When I type WTF, but it autocorrects to verily I hath witnessed a spectacle so witless, mine very soul hath packed its belongings and fled mine body. 'Tis as though reason itself hath tripped over a turnip and perished.
Our first meme of the day, everyone.
You know, you're technically correct about that.
This is not only a true meme, it is presentable in your house because it's got the artwork behind it. The text over top of it means it's something that everybody that walks down your hallway is going to have to stop and read because that's just the way humans are. So this is going to get a lot of eyeballs in your place. That, you know, it's going to be a central focus when people come over and visit, and it does pass the test. It is funny. It is funny. We all have problems with autocorrect, you know, fixing things that we don't necessarily need to fix. So it's a common issue for all of us. And the wording fits to the image, to the, you know, the time period, I believe. Could be a little bit better, but I think it's still pretty solid. I'm gonna go a 7 on this one. This is definitely, of what we've seen today, this is definitely the one. If you're looking for growth and, you know, financial growth from one of these memes, this is the one that's going to do it. So yes, these are all guaranteed to go up, but this is the one that's going to be the best. It's a good anchor piece for your portfolio.
Yeah. Continuing the Halloween theme I started earlier, there was a woman in my neighborhood who would give out 5 pennies wrapped in aluminum foil. And I will give 5 pennies wrapped in aluminum foil for this meme, which is the most I've paid for a meme today. So, because those McDonald's coupons are only worth 1/20th of a cent. So
that's true. Their retail value is only worth 1/20th of 1 cent.
So this is,
that's true.
You're making out getting five aluminum foil wrapped pennies from me for this. So congratulations.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I'm going to give this, I like this meme a lot. I think it's a great way to end the show. I'm going to give this 8 Zucker coins. I'm going to give this I'm going to give this 22 Mondo Trump coin, and I'm going to throw in an extra 6 Jeff Bezos moon units to the top of this one. And I think we can end the show there. And thank you. That has been Meme Diver. Thank you very much.
All right. Coming up in less than an hour now, we have Mediocre Poker with Amanda Bonanza. She will teach you how to lose money at poker as efficiently as she does. And then coming up at 8 Eastern, you are responsible for figuring out what time that is in your time zone. But at 8 Eastern, Border Trans is back. Last week, we saved Roland from Handsome Jack. And this week, I think we're delivering pizza to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and then going on to whatever the next mission, whatever that is. In the description of this video, there are links to all kinds of stuff. I mentioned I'm taking clients. If today's mini coaching session was just like mind blowing, you know, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to talk to you. And as always, I always do a free session for trans people. So try not to overwhelm my calendar, but I'm here if you need me. I'd love to talk. But other than that, we'll see you.
How can they get a hold of you, Lilith?
Bat signal. You do
bat signal. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Can you message me? Can you message me on YouTube?
Twitch? I don't think so.
No, YouTube.
My email.
You can't. Yeah.
All right, my email is zarling@gmail.com. If the trans folks want to email me, they can email me too. But just email me. We'll talk.
Do we have that in the description? We might need to add that.
We'll need to add that in the description. We should probably put all our contact info in the description. We'll take care of that next week.
Phone numbers, addresses, everything.
Yeah, we'll do all that stuff. We'll dox ourselves. I want to just add another thing, like the Transverse is looking for volunteers. So if any of you out there want to help us with making some videos and cutting stuff or doing some editing work or some marketing
Social
work,
media
we would
posting.
love all that stuff. You can get contact us at you can go to thetransverse.net, and I think there's a contact page. Is there an email address for that?
That works, yeah.
Yeah, just go to thetransverse.net and hit the contact page. We'll put that in there too, or just leave comments in the videos and we'll find them and we'll get in touch with you in that in whatever way is best. But like, that's definitely something that we could use. And you can hang out with us and do stuff with us and work with us, and it's fun. And we'd love to have you, because we need people doing stuff where we're good at what we do, but we're not the best at everything. And different people have different strengths. So yeah.
We have great merch. That's one of the things that we are good at too. And Amanda just came up with the brainchild of Scissor Me Timbers. That is a wonderful lesbian shirt that is available now in the Etsy store. I believe I also added a tank top. If you love that, go ahead and buy one. If that really helps support us. If you like the concept but don't like the products it's on, let us know. We can change that. We can add other things. There's a whole bunch of stuff we can add in through Printful, and you know, yeah, it's all print on demand, so we can add whatever it is that you want to see that on. Of course, there's also the Punish She Her, which is another great Amanda brainchild, and yeah, there's other fun stuff in there. So the transverse.etsy.com. I almost messed up the URL there. But thank you all so much.
I did just get that t-shirt actually, but now that I know it's in a tank top form, I'm going to get that too, because I need the tank top.
Fair enough. All right. Love y'all.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Woo.
Bye.